Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ Live. It's been a while. Here on Facebook.com. The on-demand version will be available at NoDQ.com's YouTube channel. Thank you guys for your continued support of NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. Let's talk about wrestling. That's what we're here for. Any comments you have, any questions you have, we have the WWE Backlash pay-per-view this coming Sunday. Not really looking forward to it at all. I am looking forward to the NXT pay-per-view, however. I think that that will be a really fun show, as the pay-per-views usually are. Hey James, good to see you. Hope everything is well in SoCal. Hey Seth, how's it going? Again, if you're just joining in, feel free to leave a comment or question. The comments go by very quickly, so I apologize if I miss your comment or question. I'll try to respond to as many people as possible. Any topic that you would like me to discuss, go ahead and mention something. Got 20 viewers right now. Let's see how many we can get. Who knows? I might do this for a half hour, 45 minutes. We'll see how things go. Adam says, will Randy Orton do a dive? Highly unlikely in all likelihood. I do not think we will be seeing any dives from the Viper. Billy says, your thoughts on Tomaso Champa's injury. I'm hoping he will be at the show. If he is unable to make the pay-per-view, that is really going to suck, because the ladder match, arguably the most anticipated match for this Sunday, or not Sunday, Saturday. Saturday's NXT, Sunday's Backlash. But I would say that the ladder match was the match that I was looking forward to the most, and this would be DIY's biggest showing to date in this ladder match. This would be a match where they could really shine, and for him to get hurt and possibly miss the pay-per-view, very unfortunate, very unlucky. Hopefully he'll be able to appear on the show and compete, and the match will go on as scheduled. But yeah, overall, I'm really looking forward to the NXT pay-per-view. Backlash, not so much. And good old Gilberto is trolling as usual. We love you, Gil, although your act is not working so well. I notice when Gil trolls on NoDQforums.com, very few people take the bait these days. So Gil, you gotta come up with some new material, bro. Just saying. Christopher, do you watch TNA at all anymore? Actually, I do. I still watch the shows on Pop TV. I do have PlayStation View, which is the streaming service where you can subscribe for $30 a month and you get all the different channels. And the thing I like about PlayStation View is you can watch the shows on demand with a DVR-like device. The problem with Sling, even though you can watch live shows on the West Coast, I can get the East Coast feed on the West Coast for Raw and SmackDown with Sling, but the problem with Sling is you cannot do DVR, and that's one thing I do not like about Sling. But yeah, to answer your question, I still watch TNA on Pop TV through the PlayStation View app, and I think it's very boring. I think it's just the guys running on a treadmill, just putting a wrestling show out. No real creativity. In my opinion, GFW and TNA merging, I have no interest whatsoever. I think it's very lackluster, and I think Jeff Jarrett has no good ideas. I think they're just trying to put together a wrestling show with whatever knowledge they know, which isn't anything different or unique, and that's what the TNA/Impact Wrestling brand needs. They really need some sort of new identity and some new creative juices flowing. I've been saying this for the longest time, to put it in Billy Joel's words. But it doesn't look like anything's going to change. It looks like it's going to be the same old TNA. I will say the X Division match, the main event this week, was pretty damn good. And I love the finish. I thought that that was very creative. But other than that, the show was bland. I am looking forward to next week, though, when JB's partner appears. I believe it's next week's show, and we'll see him. That will be fun. I do not care about Man, I'm all over the place here. LAX, whatever they're called. LAX Bringing them back to me was pointless. You need to create new stars, new factions, new concepts. Going back to the past is not the way to do it. Adam says, not a fan of Global Force Double J invasion of TNA. Not a fan of it at all. And they're just using this merger thing as their selling point for Slammiversary. It's going to be the unification match. TNA World Champion versus GFW World Champion. And what a joke that is, GFW World Champion. Come on now. Alex says, do you think that they will ever make a movie based on Vince McMahon's life? Well, if you've been reading up on NoDQ.com, there is early production work being done for a Vince McMahon biopic. But whether it actually happens or not, that remains to be seen. I believe it was Linda McMahon that said she doesn't think it's going to see the light of day. Who knows what's going to happen, if it will ever be made. I think something will be made eventually. Vince has a very interesting story, and I think somebody will make a movie on it. But will it be in the near future? Will this current project actually see the light of day? That's a very valid question right now, and I really don't know. Up to 43 viewers, and why am I getting so many angry faces? I think that's Gilberto. Thanks a lot, Gilberto, you little prick. Anyways, let's move on here. Brendan says, do you see Adam Cole coming to NXT now? I would not be surprised if he appears at the NXT Takeover Chicago show in the crowd, you know. We typically see somebody in the crowd at these NXT events, and I think there's a decent shot we'll see him. I think WWE should absolutely sign him. I think the timing is good for him to be a major factor in NXT. NXT could really use some top-level indie stars right now. I think it's a good opportunity for Adam Cole to come in. Gilberto says, why can I not choose the purple flower reaction? I agree. I wish we had the purple flower reaction. I am very upset with Facebook. How dare they? I am thankful 24/7. I am thankful on Father's Day, 4th of July, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, every holiday, Christmas, Halloween, you name it. I'm thankful 24/7, and I want to express my thankfulness whenever possible. So why is it only Mother's Day? Why can it not be every single day that I can give a flower out to show my thankfulness? Anyways, getting off topic here. I agree, Zach. Hashtag bring back the flower. Seth says, well, guys like Great Muta and I missed the other name, going into the WWE Hall of Fame. I think you said Jushin Liger. I think there's a decent shot, even though Muta and Jushin Liger never really did anything in WWE. I think Jushin Liger's only appearance was that NXT TakeOver show. But both of them have never worked in WWE. Both of them did have a lot of work in WCW, though, so they did make an impact on American audiences. I think it will happen. I think both of them will end up in the Hall of Fame at some point. Will Austin Aries finally win the Cruiserweight Championship from Teddy? I hope so. I'd like to see Austin Aries win the title. I think Neville's had a great run, but I'd like to see Aries win the title. He's been chasing it for a while now, and I think it's time. I think it's time for a title change. I think it's time for a double to have a run with the title and see where things go. And you can do Aries versus TJP for the Cruiserweight title. By the way, TJP, the guy needs some new entrance music. His current music is too happy-go-lucky. I love it, though. I love the Mega Man tribute, but I think they need to give him some sort of video game boss villain theme song and just give him something different. Keep it in the realm of video games, but give him a villain's theme song, like a Dr. Robotnik remix or something like that. Michael says, what are your thoughts on Bruce Pritchard? What do you mean exactly? I thought he was entertaining his brother Love. Him as a TV personality in Impact Wrestling, I think he's making no difference whatsoever. Whatever he's doing, working for the company, I think he's making no difference whatsoever. So that's how I would sum up Bruce Pritchard. Liked him as brother Love, though. What do you think of the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes from Axel? I haven't seen much of Cody on the indie scene, so I couldn't tell you. From what I've heard, he's been doing well for himself, and that's great. If he's regained his passion from wrestling and he's having fun, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, is having fun. Money's not everything, and from what I've heard, he's making pretty good money on the indies. He's getting a lot of gigs. Good for him. I'm happy for him. Very happy for him. Gilberto says Kyle is late to the party. Interstate Kyle is here. Welcome, Interstate Kyle. And by the way, you guys can check out his videos on the NoDQ channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. And every single one of you should be checking out that channel. If you're watching this video, you can watch a whole lot more over at youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. Lots of archives, 2,000 videos of original content. Adam says, do you think Dolph Ziggler constantly enjoys being a jobber? I think he likes getting paid. I think if Ziggler was really unhappy, he would have been gone by now, because it's been pretty clear for years that he's going to be at a certain level, above the Neville level, but not much above that. And he's never going to be the guy that the company builds itself around. But he's making good money. He's a major superstar. And I think as long as he can have very solid matches in WWE, the company will rely on him as a guy that can go out there and deliver in the ring. As long as he can be that guy and make the big bucks, I think he'll continue to do what he's doing. I missed the question about Paige. Do you think it's possible they'll let her go from her contract and wrestle independence? I don't think they'll let her go. I think once her contract is up, at that point, she'll do something else, probably end up in TNA. That would be my guess, at least. Not really sure what else she can do. Maybe she'll go back to England and work for her family for a while. I could see that as a possibility. I guess she'll end up wherever Alberto ends up. If Alberto's still in TNA when her contract's up, that's where she'll be. Any match you want to see at Backlash? 2 matches. Nakamura, Dolph Ziggler. Mentioned Dolph Ziggler a few minutes ago. I think that'll be a great match. And AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens. Everything else, do not care about. No interest. And if those matches end up being really good, then the pay-per-view will exceed my expectations. But I think the wrestling, as usual, will be pretty good. I hope the wrestling is great, and I hope the storylines are compelling. But not getting my hopes up on the latter. Jamie says, TNA is in my DNA. Well, good for you. Zach says Jinder wins. He might win by DQ, but I personally would like to see Randy Orton destroy Jinder Mahal. 5-minute match, just put Mahal away, beat up the other guys, and in this Jinder Mahal thing is flopped. And you can't just take a guy that was booked like a jobber for the longest time and make him a star with the flip of a switch. You just can't do it. And the last several weeks, I'm not convinced that he's a main event guy. The writing and the storytelling just hasn't done it for me. As far as I'm concerned, he's just another random guy. He's just another face in the crowd. And Paul says if Jinder doesn't win, will his push continue? I mean, they might push him a little bit, but I don't see them doing much with him if he loses clean to Randy Orton, which I think he should. Jinder Mahal, would he be a decent WWE champion if he wins it? No. I think the title would mean even less than it does now. And maybe that's the argument for making him champion. The title already means nothing, so let's just put it on anybody. Who cares, right? I don't know. Adam says, when will Finn Balor bring back the Demon? Probably when he's in a main event. If it's Great Balls of Fire against Brock Lesnar, I think he'll be the Demon. If it's at SummerSlam, I think he'll be the Demon. It just depends on his next big match. He's only doing it for the major matches. Axel says, make Rollins heel again. Agree 100%. Jose says, your thoughts on the New Japan shows in Long Beach in July. That's awesome that New Japan's coming to Southern California. I will not be there. I'm in Portland, Oregon, which is very nice, by the way. The weather is perfect here. But it's good that the fans in Southern California are getting something different. They're getting an alternative to WWE. How well will it draw? I believe they've sold out the shows, which is, very good news for New Japan. Can they do it on a consistent basis? That I don't know about, but since they're a special attraction, and this is the first time that fans in Southern California are seeing New Japan, I think that, you know, there's a lot of buzz about it. If New Japan could tour California regularly and draw good numbers, that would be great. That would be great for the business, but I don't know if that's something that they can do at this point. Miz babyface turn by the end of the year, asks Richard. Miz is such a great heel. I'm not even sure he could work as a babyface. I mean, maybe he could, but he's just a natural born trash talker, and he knows how to run his mouth. When he was a babyface, you know, it was pretty flat. When he was doing the Ric Flair figure 4 and being mentored by Ric Flair, wasn't really working. He's better at what he's doing now. I want to see the Balor Club when Finn turns heel from Zach. I don't think Balor's going to turn heel. I think Balor's doing very well as a babyface. If anybody, there's two people that need to turn heel in my opinion. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Those are the guys I would turn heel. Not Finn Balor, not The Miz. I would turn Ambrose and I would turn Miz. Tristan says, when will AJ get the title back? I'm hoping SummerSlam. I think it should be Randy Orton versus AJ Styles SummerSlam. AJ wins back the world title. And then the two of them can feud over the title for the next several months. That's what I would do at least. I think AJ should get it back soon. Paul says you need to change up your YouTube channel. You have far too many creeps on there. Please delete them. I've been blocking people that are being pricks on there. And like I said, if you can give me constructive feedback, then I will definitely respect that and try to use that feedback to better the channel. However, if you're going on there and just not saying anything productive and you know how things are, you know things are not going to change, but you keep saying things that you know are just going to get on my nerves, then you're getting blocked. Bottom line. Craig says, when will we see the revival of the NWA? Whenever Billy Corgan plans on doing it. I have no idea what he has in store for NWA. Again, I hope he does well. It's good for the wrestling business if more promotions are thriving and there's more alternatives out there. I'm not sure what he can do. It's going to take a lot to rebuild the NWA brand and make it cool and hip. Now, if anybody can do it, it's Billy Corgan, a guy who has made a lifetime out of being cool and hip and doing edgy things. So we'll see. We'll see if he has what it takes to rebuild the NWA brand. I mean, that would be very interesting. I think WWE should introduce a mid-card women's title. They have too many titles. I'm not a fan of adding more titles. I think that would be overkill. If anything, get rid of a title or two. Adding more, not a fan of at this point. Axel says Cody will be the new NWA champion. Why not? I mean, Cody's got the bloodline, and NWA is all about the history and the tradition. Dusty Rhodes, great NWA champion. Makes perfect sense to me. I'd consider it. Any current NWA wrestlers you know the potential to become a major wrestling star in the future? None off the top of my head. I'm not sure who's currently in the NWA. That's how out of the loop I am on that. You guys got to keep in mind, I do not follow much indie wrestling. As it is, watching WWE has become a big chore because there's just so much content to cover. And essentially, NoDQ.com is a WWE site. And I just don't have the time to watch a lot of other promotions. But, you know, of the guys I am familiar with on the indie scene in general, you know, like I said earlier, Adam Cole, Young Bucks, I think should be in WWE. Kenny Omega, those are the guys I think that WWE should really push to sign next. Oh, Rob Conway. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he's been up to. I don't know what he looks like these days. I mean, I saw Rene Dupree fairly recently, and he looks to be in good shape. So, you know, never rule out WWE bringing back one of those guys. But, you know, I think that the general way to go is to focus on the younger talent. I think that that's what WWE is doing. They've invested so much in NXT and the Performance Center. It's all about making new stars and bringing in new talent. So, yeah, some of these guys might be brought in, but, you know, WWE is focusing on the future. Axel says RVD in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I mean, it will definitely happen. It's not a matter of if, but when. I think he will be in the Hall of Fame, and who inducts him should probably be Paul Heyman. What do you guys think? Who should induct RVD into the Hall of Fame. Oh, we got David here. We got almost the entire No DQ panel. We got David, Virtue David, not David Payne. Where's David Payne? He's always missing from these things. We got Interstate Kyle here. We got Gilberto. We got a whole bunch of fun people in here. Stephen Breach, good buddy. They have to get rid of the 50-50 booking to make stars. Totally agree with you. And, you know, it's just this current era. We're in an era of mid-carders where everybody's at the same level, whether it's the Neville level or the A-double level, whatever. Everybody's on the same level except for Roman Reigns. He's the one guy that is really protected strong, and he's the only guy that the fans react to like a major superstar. I mean, that's the way it is. Oh, Steven said Tommy Dreamer inducting RVD. That's a good choice right there. Billy says, what do you think Daniel Bryan will do once his contract is up? Probably wrestle, unless common sense tells him it's not a good idea and he really cannot get back in the ring again, even on a limited basis. You know, that's going to be up to Daniel Bryan and how he's feeling about fatherhood and how his finances are, which I do not see finances being a problem. It's just a matter of, is he healthy enough? If he's healthy enough, I think that there's no amount of money WWE can offer him to stay in a GM role when he can go back on the indies and wrestle again. Zach says, how long will the draft last? Until Vince gets tired of it. If Vince gets tired of it tomorrow, then there's going to be no more brand split. But I would think that they would give this time, you know, going back and forth, starting it, stopping it, starting it again. Not really, I think, a good idea for business. Rob, this is a non-question wrestling question here. Are you watching Better Call Saul? Absolutely. Great show. Last couple of episodes have been absolutely tremendous. So highly recommend it to anyone. Definitely one of my few TV joys of the week. Wrestling, not so much. Tony says, will we see another bragging rights pay-per-view? I hope not. You have Survivor Series. Survivor Series is the place to do Raw versus SmackDown. Richard says, or asks, CM Punk and the Impact equal a lot of viewers? Maybe temporarily, maybe for 1 week they get 50,000 extra viewers, but seriously, I think that's the most they would get. I do not think that there's any one person that could turn TNA's viewership around. I do not think The Rock could do it. I think The Rock could come in and TNA would somehow manage to screw him up and make him lose name value. So I think The Rock's smart enough to stay away. Plus, there's no way they could even come close to paying what he would want. CM Punk, I doubt he would make any difference. Maybe 50,000 people the first week, and then they would be back to their rating in a week or two, their normal viewership. James says this flower outage is a crisis. You're damn right, and don't get me worked up again. I want that flower back more than just about anybody. Damn Facebook to heck. Axel, CM Punk in the Bullet Club will get a lot of viewers. Maybe. I mean, I think CM Punk would... I think CM Punk, if he was going to come back, he'd go to New Japan. I think he would do that. I do not think he would go to TNA. Why be miserable? Why go to TNA? He would have more fun being in Japan. That's how I see it, at least. I think the women's division needs AJ Lee. Women's division's doing great, but no doubt AJ Lee made a big impact and was a factor in the women's revolution really getting going. I think that it would be cool to see her back at some point for some kind of role. You know, she was very good at what she did. She was definitely one of the better women performers of the past decade. Justin says, who do you think will sign to NXT next? If I had to take a guess, Adam Cole. You know, he's a free agent, and if I was WWE, I would make a play. I would do whatever it takes to get him signed. Kevin says, heard the Flower was in Japan having 5-star matches in the Tokyo Dome. 6 stars. If it's in Japan, it gets that extra star, right? David says, when is the WWE Slammy Awards? They did not do it this past year, and I don't know if they're going to bring it back. Again, it depends on Vince and how he feels. If he's up for doing it, he's going to do it. Oh, Gary's here. Kyle's grandpa, which, by the way, you could check out Kyle and his grandfather Gary on the NoDQ channel. I'm hoping to meet up with them soon, and maybe we'll do some videos together. Me, Kyle, and Gary. That'll be fun. We can do some various wrestling topic videos. Salvatore says, who should defeat Brock Lesnar? He said delete Brock Lesnar for the title. For me personally, I'd like to see Samoa Joe do it. Don't think it's going to happen. Think it's going to be the big dog. And I would be surprised if it was anybody else. Oh, I missed that other question. Okay, Vinny, please don't use the F word in here. I would appreciate that, guys. You might have to flag him for that. I love trolling, but at the same time here, I'm trying to do this video and take a serious approach to it. So if you guys can go a little bit easy with the profanity and the slurs, I would appreciate it. Keep it to NoDQforums.com, because that's where all hell breaks loose, and you know, that's basically Facebook purgatory as far as I'm concerned. Samoa Joe or Wyatt beating Lesnar would be great. Wyatt, I'm over Bray Wyatt. You guys want to know how I feel? I think Bray Wyatt needs a babyface turn. He's the guy that needs a face turn, not The Miz. Wyatt has just gotten so flat, and I think that feud with Randy Orton did him no favors whatsoever. Zach says, just stop buying Roman stuff. Definitely true, but it ain't going to happen. Roman Reigns is a superstar, and there are enough wrestling fans out there that like the Superman punch, like the spear, and they look up to him as a role model. And, you know, angry wrestling fans out there, they can complain all they want, but they keep buying into the product. They keep their network subscriptions, they keep buying merchandise, they keep going to shows to boo Roman Reigns. Nothing's going to change. It is what it is, and until WWE business takes a hit, it's never going to change. So just learn to love it. If you really hate it, stop watching, but you're still watching. So what else can I say? Do you think Finn Balor should attack Seth Rollins because of the past storyline? No, I think Finn Balor should demand his one-on-one title opportunity since he never lost the title. Isn't he entitled to a rematch? I mean, not technically a rematch since he never faced Brock, but I would think that it's perfectly fair for the guy that had to relinquish the title due to injury to get the first match when he's healthy and ready to come back, and he hasn't gotten it. So Finn Balor's character is just a dumbass because he should be demanding that match, and I think it makes his character look weak when he doesn't. Just my opinion, though. Can Prince Puma be a huge star? That's Ricochet, right? I would say yes. I would say he's another guy that WWE should try to sign when he's available, and William Ospreay, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I might have butchered it, but that guy's another person I could see WWE signing in the next year or two. Do you think EC3 will show up next year in NXT? Depends on how long TNA's around, you know. I could see it happening. TNA seems to lose every decent talent they have. I could see EC3 back in WWE someday. I think he deserves another shot. He's done very well in TNA. I think better than people were expecting. I mean, NoDQforums.com was very high on him from the beginning. We had all the Ethan banners and all the Ethan praise on the forums right when he debuted. But, you know, he ended up doing very well for himself, and good for him. But hopefully he will never forget the support he had from all the TNA soldiers over at NoDQforums.com. What matches do you think we will see at SummerSlam for Joe, Seth, and Balor? Great question. Right now, I think it's too soon to say. I mean, I could see Rollins and Joe being stretched out until then. Would not surprise me at all. I'm not sure. Other than Lesnar versus Strowman, maybe they'll do Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe, Battle of the Samoans, so Reigns can get his win back from Joe's Raw debut match. You know, back in Portland, actually. I was there for that. Would not surprise me because Reigns always has to look strong. He's got to get his win back against all the people that beat him, right? Because he's Roman freaking Reigns. If Corey Graves had never had to retire due to injuries, do you think he would have been a star in the main roster from Chase or Chance? I missed the name. Hard to say. I think he would have done fairly well. He's got a fairly good look. I'm not too familiar with his in-ring work when he was actively wrestling. I think he would have done fairly well. I mean, he's got a pretty good look, so I think he would have at least gone to the mid-card. I'm not sure if he would have been a major star. I don't think there's enough to know about him and his skills to really make that solid prediction on it. Kyle says Samoa Joe's main roster run has been super disappointing. Well, I think he's doing pretty well. I mean, he could be doing better, but I mean, he's in a solid mid-card spot to upper-card spot. He's feuding with one of the top guys in the company, Seth Rollins. So he could be doing worse, could be doing better, could be the top heel, but Braun Strowman has been that guy, and Joe has taken a back seat to Strowman. I'd love to see Joe beat Lesnar. That would be the way to really make Joe's career, in my opinion. Do you think SmackDown Live's experimental booking will work in the long run? Experimental? What show were you watching this past Tuesday? That show was anything but experimental. Let's see. Guys come out, 4 or 5 guys come out, cut a promo. Promo turns into a match. Next segment, Breezango does another Fashion Police Files, whatever it's called. Then after that, right after that, they come out for another match. Then you have a contract signing. Contract signing! How was that experimental? God. And then after that, what happened? Oh, you guessed it. A match. They had a contract signing that turned into a match. And that was pretty much the entire show. And then AJ Styles lost to Jinder Mahal. Yeah, that is experimental. Whatever. I guess we've gotten to the point that Jinder Mahal winning matches is considered to be experimental. Dustin, Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy, Walking Dead, which order do you choose and why? Breaking Bad #1 by far. Walking Dead, I enjoyed the first season, but it went downhill for me. Sons of Anarchy was, for me, uneven. I thought some seasons were better than others. I thought the last season was really strong. It's a tough call between Walking Dead and Sons of Anarchy for #2. They're pretty close for me personally, but Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, way up at the top above everything else. Brittany, do you think them going with Jinder is hurting SmackDown? Yes, I do, but I do not think that it is everything that is wrong with SmackDown. And if you want to know more of my thoughts on that, check out the latest NoDQ video. I talk more in detail about how I feel about the SmackDown brand and the decline of SmackDown. Rude versus AJ Styles at SummerSlam, asks Richard. Probably not. I think Rude will be in a NXT title match at SummerSlam weekend. I think there's a decent chance we will see Rude debut the night after SummerSlam. That's my current prediction. How do you feel about Triple H stable with Samoa Joe and Pete Dunne and all those guys? I'm tired of seeing Triple H on television, quite frankly. I think that him and Stephanie should be gone. I'm over it. I'm over Triple H and Stephanie as heel characters. If Triple H wants to come back as a babyface, then I might be okay with that. But overall, tired of Triple H. I'm just bored with it. The heel Triple H thing is really played out. Do you think WWE is now on a massive decline on the quality of shows all around this year? Yeah, I feel creatively the show is the lowest it's been in a very long time. At least a year and a half since the end of 2015. I don't think anything's going to change, though, because WWE is such a well-oiled machine. They got money coming in from all ends, every part of the WWE body, their ass, their ears, their mouth. Everywhere they got money coming out. And as long as they got that money, nothing's going to change. Again, it's a business. WWE does not care about art or creativity. They care about making money. How do we make money? How do we take this guy and get as much money out of him as possible? They see Roman Reigns, they see money. They see women and children that will look up to him as a hero. They see men that will watch whatever product WWE gives them, and they will deal with whatever WWE decides to do, and they're going to do what they can to make the most money. So if they can take advantage of a sucker, P.T. Barnum said a sucker is born every minute. Actually, I think that that's a myth that he said that, but somebody said it. a sucker is born every minute. WWE is great at finding those suckers, and I guess I'm a sucker, you know? Before I insult anybody watching this video, I'm a sucker. I'm still watching. But then again, I got a website here that I'm running, and if I did not have the website, I think things would be very different. I think I would be just watching Breaking Bad 24/7 and not watching WWE if I could help it. Salvatore says Cena versus Joe at WrestleMania. That would be cool. I'd be down with that. And Gary said, you know, we'll work to meet up soon. I told Kyle a week from this Saturday. Not sure why I'm talking about this on this video. That's kind of silly. We can private message, but we can do some videos hopefully in the near future. Preferably not a pay-per-view week, because pay-per-view weeks are hectic, and this weekend's going to be hectic. Muhammad, oh man, I'm sorry, Muhammad, I missed that question. Billy, are you calling us suckers? No, I'm not calling you a sucker. I would never call anybody watching this a sucker. I'm the sucker. I'm the sucker for putting up with WWE's crap for 35 years of my life, which is insane. So I might need to get my head examined. I mean, that's a pretty obvious fact right there. Who's your favorite babyface and heel in WWE from Chase? It is Chase. Favorite heel? The Miz, because The Miz is one of the few guys that can legitimately get heel heat and get the fans to cheer the good guy and want to see the good guy beat up the bad guy. Miz is really good in that role. Miz is the best heel in WWE today. Best babyface? Now that they're back, I'll say the Hardy Boys. Before that, it's hard to say because there haven't really been a lot of good baby faces. Organic baby faces. I'm not counting Roman Reigns or John Cena. Sami Zayn, before WWE booked him to be annoying. It's like Enzo and Sami Zayn, two guys that were really over as baby faces, and then WWE has to book both of them like annoying little flies that keep buzzing in your face and you want to swat them away, to just essentially kill their babyface reactions. It's stupid. Enzo and Sami Zayn are tremendous baby faces, so it's a real shame how WWE has booked them to be disliked when they're supposed to be beloved faces. Do you see the WWE 100 years from now? I'll go ahead and say yes, because I'll be dead by then, and if I'm wrong, I will not have to own up to it. Tyson, thoughts on the legal battle between the Hardys and Impact over the broken gimmick? I think it's silly. I think the two sides should come to a deal, and the Hardys should be doing the broken gimmick in WWE. I think there's money to be made with it. I think Impact can make some money from it. I think, you know, the longer this drags out, it makes everybody look bad. I think they should settle this as soon as possible. I don't know what the holdup is. I'm sure there are a lot of different factors. Legal stuff can be very complicated. Do you see WWE around 150 years from now? Sure, why not? Do you think that WWE will ever turn the Kingdom with Bennett and Cole if both of them head to WWE? Oh, form the Kingdom. I don't know what the Kingdom is. I'm not, again, if it's some indie group, I'm not familiar with it. I don't think Barrett's coming back. Could be wrong though. You know, we saw Jinder Mahal come back, and Wade Barrett wasn't buried that bad. You know, the League of Nations was a pretty crappy faction, but not quite as bad as 3MB in terms of being a complete joke. How would you fix the SmackDown Tag Team division? That's going to take a lot. Try to rebuild American Alpha. They should have been the stars of the division. Maybe have the Revival go over to SmackDown and rekindle that feud for the tag team titles. Beyond that, I think they're pretty SOL right now, and you know what that means. Samuel, who's career killer gimmick, Red Rooster or Beaver Cleavage? I'd say Red Rooster, because Terry Taylor was actually considered to be a pretty good wrestler and had some real potential. After the Red Rooster, nobody could take him seriously. With Headbanger, I think it was Mosh, right? You know, when he became Beaver Cleavage, you know, Mosh wasn't really a big star. The Headbangers were almost a lower card tag team. I think they did have a run with the tag team titles, but that was because WWE had a really thin tag team roster back then. So yeah, I mean, his career wasn't really that spectacular to begin with. Taylor, I would say, was more disappointing, considering the potential that he had. Roman, if Eddie Guerrero was still alive, would he have won the Rumble in 2006? Possibly. I'm trying to remember. I think the plan was for Eddie to go back to being a heel, which I think would have been a mistake. I think the babyface turn was just a ruse. That was what the storyline was. So they might have done Eddie versus Batista one final time at WrestleMania. But there have been different stories out there. Somebody who was involved said what the actual plan was. I don't remember. Travis said, when will No DQ end finally? Oh, that's cruel, man. That is so cruel. Hopefully never. Hopefully I could pass it down to some other lunatic who's crazy enough to watch wrestling 24/7. We'll see. Paul says XMV reunion needs to happen. Don't think so. Mike Nagel is not too high on me right now, unfortunately. I do not like drama, but some people like to stir the pot and don't know how to handle, humor. And that's all I will say on that. But I hope he's doing well. Doubt he's watching this, though. Maybe he is. I don't know. I heard rumors that it was going to be Shawn versus Eddie at WrestleMania 22. I've heard that, too. I've heard a couple of different things from different people about that. And, it's hard to say. I know WWE used to be better about planning things out in advance. I know that Vince versus Shawn, they shot the angle for that before the year was over, and there were some times where angles were shot at Survivor Series. So they might have had a pretty good idea of where they were going with Eddie by the time of his death. Andrew says Styles versus Brock Lesnar. That would be interesting. AJ Styles as a ping pong for Brock Lesnar. Don Bowen, did you ever watch Georgia Championship Wrestling? Not particularly. I did watch some wrestling from the 80s, but mainly stuff my dad taped, and a lot of that was WWE and NWA/WCW and AWA. A few other promotions here and there. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Been going on for a while here. I hope you enjoyed today's No DQ Live. Thank you for tuning in. If you missed part of it or missed a lot of it, you can check out the on-demand version. I will be uploading it to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift, No DQ. Subscribe, tell a friend. We got coverage this weekend. I will be doing play-by-play Saturday night, Sunday night, and probably not after that. I think I might be taking a break from Raw and SmackDown. But got full coverage coming this weekend. Stay tuned for that. I will see you guys next time.